Pastor Bill, I know one of the things that you share often is culture and establishing culture. What are some of the things that you did at the very beginning when this revelation first started to become real to you, to really see it break into the church to where now it's just somebody can step into it and it becomes second nature to them?
Well, heaven's culture has to be real in my home before it can be real in the local church. It has to be the way I do my marriage. It has to be the way I celebrate my children. I honor who they are, recognize grace on them. I call them into their destinies. A culture of honor is where you celebrate who a person is without stumbling over who they're not.
Say that again, Bill.
A culture of honor is where you celebrate who a person is without stumbling over who they're not. And so in a family context, that's where you learn. I learned it at home in my house with my parents. And so we did that with our children. We looked to see the grace that was on them and call them, we'd speak to them as a rock when they weren't as stable. They were like Peter, the broken reed. We'd speak to them in that way all the time they were growing up. So when it happens at home, and it becomes the way you do life. It becomes the way you do life in church without effort. It's not a program. It's not a strategy. It's life as you know it in the kingdom. And when you have those kinds of values in your relationships, your friendships, your leadership, all that stuff, it's not so much a program to train people to change the world. It's let's taste of heaven and see what could happen. Let's see if it can affect how we do life. Let's see if it can do relationships around that value system. Let's see if we can love our city the same way that we love one another. Let's see if we can become servants and stop trying to become masters. And when you take that approach in your house, where I become the servant of my wife and my children, I become the servant of our eldership team and our church family, then suddenly you have something that becomes a model for people to follow. They instinctively think in terms of how can I be a benefit to my employees? How can I be a benefit to the city I love and serve? And it's not so much a strategy or plan as much as is just learn it in your close friendships. Test it well. And when you know that you've sunk your teeth into something that is otherworldly, something that is truly kingdom, then it will permeate everything you do and everything you are. And it's not because of a strategy or great intelligence or programs put in place. It's simply because there's no end to the increase of his government. There's no end.
Amen.
No end.
Wow. Just